It's typical for a woman to leave her infant in a room full of smoke. The true question, though, is whether clout or her child is more important. Her youngster appears to be sleeping while he is around her. She is thought to be feeding him melatonin. But is that a fact or a rumor? Parenting, partying, and love. Are you able to balance all three? The explanation is brutally obvious when one considers Chrisean Rock life. No, Chrisean Rock is said to be a man who thrives on drama. Unfortunately, no one can overlook the fact that her kid Junior is slipping behind. People refer to it as gossip when a mother leaves her child in the family in order to attend parties and fights. This isn't gossip, though. A child's future is at stake. Blueface is incarcerated. Chrisean Rock is stuck in the middle while pursuing influence. A newborn didn't ask for this mess. Specifically, who is defending him? Online users have recently been discussing Cash's decision to leave her infant with Bino during a smoke-fill session. Additionally, Chrisean Rock left her son Junior with Bino, as surrounded by strangers, she hardly knows anyone. Many people think Chrisean Rock gives her child melatonin to keep him quiet because her youngster constantly appears to be asleep when she is supposed to be babysitting him. Chrisean Rock's personal life, however, is equally disorganized. Although she claims to be unmarried, her romances seem to go on forever. Bino appears to be more of a transient diversion than a serious relationship. For those who don't know, Chrisean Rock, who is more well-known online, became well-known due to her connection with rapper Blueface. Their relationship has never been steady. And even though Blueface is incarcerated right now, their drama is still leaking out. Chrisean Rock and his first baby mother had frequently argued, as though she wanted to have a child with him to demonstrate that she was the superior woman. However, many contend that she hasn't lived up to that assertion. Critics point out that she continued to drink, smoke, and party when she was pregnant. According to reports, her pregnancy choices are to blame for her unborn child's delayed development. Chrisean Rock is frequently spotted going out to parties with her new lover, Bino, rather than concentrating on providing her child with the assistance he needs, something she can afford to do. From the start, there has been doubt about Chrisean Rock and Bino's connection. Many found it difficult to comprehend why she would entertain him at all. He has often made her feel ashamed by sharing intimate and private moments online that shouldn't have happened outside of their relationship. She let him into her personal life even though it was a public humiliation. Worse, she gave him enough faith to look after her child. Many others are shaking their heads in response to that choice, raising the same urgent question. Why would a woman abandon her child for a man she hardly knows, particularly one with a problematic past? Videos and live streams demonstrating their malfunction are all over the internet. Chrisean Rock and Bino are loving at one point. The next moment, Junior is caught in the background as they are yelling at one another. The fact that Chrisean Rock appears to normalize the turbulence as though the volatility of their relationship were just another aspect of her way of life is what is most worrisome. Rather than shielding her child from harm, she keeps involving Junior in these clumsy, uncertain circumstances. Chrisean Rock recently took things even more over when she participated in an Instagram live debate with Bino's other baby moms. She placed herself squarely in the center of the drama rather than avoiding it. She advised them to keep out of her affairs with Bino and concentrate on their own kids during that live. Viewers did not miss the irony of her remarks, though, particularly given her own family has been taking care of Junior while she is away. The stability Junior has been sorely lacking has been provided by her sisters, but they have reached their breaking point. They have publicly acknowledged that they are worn out from taking care of him. To ensure that the youngster has some feeling of normalcy, Chrisean Rock has given up their own time, energy, and finances while still going out and pursuing relationships. However, without his mother's financial and emotional backing, they are only able to accomplish so much. They have become so frustrated that they have started to voice their displeasure, stating unequivocally that they are unable to continue to bear this burden alone. Online discussions concerning accountability, parenting, and priorities have increased as a result of this circumstance. Although everyone is aware that becoming a parent is challenging and when someone consistently prioritizes their own needs over those of their child. It can be quite frustrating. Chrisean Rock's actions, according to critics, demonstrate a lack of accountability. She devotes her focus to poisonous romances, public feuds, and Instagram skirmishes rather than managing her son's well-being. For many, this conduct is indicative of a risky trend. She uses attention from men, her internet influence, and careless choices as a diversion from the realities of motherhood. She perpetuates the idea that Junior is not her top priority every time she goes live to dispute with random people or shows up in videos. They emphasize her partying rather than raising a family. And the criticism of her intensifies with each viral moment. The fact that Junior's welfare appears to be falling between the gaps is the saddest aspect. He is already having developmental difficulties and requires specialist care, according to family members and internet discussion. In addition to financial assistance, that kind of support calls for patience, dedication, consistency qualities that his mother ought to provide. Even though Chrisean Rock has the means to supply it, she doesn't seem to want to. Rather, her sisters are left to pick up the pieces frequently without the necessary assistance. It is made worse by the public humiliation she experiences as a result of her relationships. Whatever respect remained in their relationship was taken away when Bino posted private moments online. He was obviously more concerned with visibility and influence than with honoring her as a mother or a partner. Nevertheless, she decided to keep him with her. Just that decision sparked curiosity. However, many started to fear for Junior's safety after she left her son in his care. The cycle it produces is what makes the whole situation even more alarming. Chrisean Rock uses tumultuous relationships to find approval. She is humiliated and those connections fall apart. In response, she goes online to garner attention, which only serves to stoke the criticism. Her son, meanwhile, is caught in the midst of all of this unpredictability and does not have the stable, supportive environment that all children need. Her sister's fatigue ought to be a wake-up call. Despite their best efforts to fill in as caretakers, their frustration demonstrates one thing: a child's mother cannot be replaced by anyone. Support networks can be useful, but at the fault ultimately lies with Chrisean Rock. The cycle will continue until she decides to choose Junior over all other considerations. There is more to the discussion around Chrisean Rock than mere rumors. It is an indication of a more serious problem. Being a parent requires sacrifice. It requires you to prioritize the needs of others before your own, no matter how challenging that may be. The youngster bears the repercussions when a parent doesn't do that. Online critics are not merely being harsh for the purpose of being tough. They are highlighting neglectful behaviors that may affect Junior for the rest of his life. Ultimately, the way forward is evident. Chrisean Rock needs to quit allowing turmoil that doesn't help her, leave toxic relationships, and give her child her whole attention, even if she doesn't recognize it yet. Junior needs her committed, sober, and in the moment. Her reputation will keep declining until she makes that decision. And her son, rather than her detractors, will be the one who suffers the most. Chrisean Rock family and the general public are still frustrated by her narrative. She repeatedly finds herself dragged into disputes that aren't actually hers. Nevertheless, she doubles down and inserts herself further rather than stopping to consider her part in the pandemonium. Recently, one of Bino's other baby moms publicly challenged her, asking why Chrisean Rock spends so much energy on unrelated conflicts, because it included indisputable truth. The criticism was painful. Junior is supposedly lagging behind in ways that are impossible to ignore, whereas the children of the other mothers are apparently flourishing. For many onlookers, the situation is no longer about petty fights, seeking clout, or even her troubled relationship with Bino. The contrast is jarring and makes one wonder, where exactly are Chrisean Rock priorities? Fundamentally, the problem is far more severe. It's about accountability. It is not possible to disregard or approach children as a side project while pursuing parties and attention on the internet. Children need care, patience, and stability. Items that Junior is in dire need of, but, according to people closest to the matter, his mother doesn't regularly provide. The obvious discrepancy between what Chrisean Rock says and what she does is what amplifies the criticism. She argues that she loves her son and wants the best for him on social media. But her behavior frequently conveys a different message. She appears to be more focused on appearances, arguing on Instagram Live, protecting relationships that cause her more pain than peace, and getting involved in drama that depletes her energy rather than devoting time to his growth or fostering an atmosphere where he may flourish. Although painful, the reality cannot be avoided. The daily work needed to raise a child cannot be replaced by likes, comments, or passing attention. Being a parent is not a glamorous job. It isn't accompanied with praise or immediate satisfaction. It calls for selflessness, perseverance, and the readiness to put the needs of others before your own. Many believe Chrisean Rock is lacking in that area. According to her detractors, Junior is worthy of more than a passing mention in her narrative. He is worthy of being at the center of everything. The groundwork for his development is being established at an early age. Every day counts. Every conversation counts. And every decision she makes has an immediate impact on his future. However, other kids his age or Junior is apparently having difficulty learning to walk, communicate, reach milestones, and navigate the world. Attention, counseling, and organized care are necessary for those challenges. They need a mother who is attentive and present, not one who is sidetracked by gossip. At this point, the topic of discourse moves from rumors to something far more serious. Chrisean Rock is being judged for more than simply her youth or flaws. The well-being of a child is at risk, which is why they are voicing concerns. Even inadvertent neglect can have long-lasting consequences. Children are left to face difficulties without the resources they require for success when parents are unable to give stability. Furthermore, it can only go so far when family members intervene, as Chrisean Rock's sisters have done. The fact that they are already displaying signs of fatigue and irritation indicates that the load is getting too much for them to handle alone. The sad thing is that Chrisean Rock has the ability to break the cycle she is in if she so chooses. The answer is straightforward, although it does call for self-control. She needs to turn her attention within and remove herself from the limelight and her incessant need for approval. In this instance, self-control isn't just about cutting harmful connections or staying away from gatherings. Establishing routines, establishing consistency, and learning to refuse distractions that aren't beneficial to her or her child are all important. Here, genuine self-love is also very important. Self-love is often confused with self-indulgence, self-treatment, fun-seeking, or attention-seeking. However, true self-love frequently requires difficult decisions. It involves establishing limits, formulating a life plan, and renouncing chaos as your compass. For Chrisean Rock, self-love would entail admitting that Junior's needs come before fleeting amusement or internet influence. It would entail acknowledging that the well-being of the child who depends on her will be used to gauge her legacy rather than Instagram followers. The cycle will probably go on until those lessons are internalized. The criticism, the drama, and the weariness will all recur. Junior will always be the one who endures the most hardship. He will keep growing up in a setting where he feels unimportant and where neglect and conflict take precedence over his needs. People fervently hope she stays away from that reality. Chrisean Rock still has the opportunity to alter the story. Being a parent is not about being flawless. It has to do with maturation and accountability. All parents make errors. What counts is whether they grow from them and step up to the challenge. Chrisean Rock might silence her detractors and, more significantly, offer her son the life he deserves if she makes the deliberate decision to completely assume her role. Create a healthy atmosphere for Junior and show up consistently. But the same scenario will continue to play out as long as responsibility is shied away from and drama is squandered. Junior, the helpless youngster in the center, will continue to bear the consequences as Chrisean Rock is remembered for her disorder rather than her growth. To be honest, before his name began to appear in all of this chaos, I had never heard of this man Khan at all. I suspect most people would have. not for the ongoing drama involving him and Chrisean Rock. It's not his music that is attracting notice. It's a disorder. The unfortunate thing about Chrisean Rock is that it nearly seems like she views the circumstance as merely amusement. She sees it as a game, a diversion, or perhaps a tactic to make fun of Blueface and keep her name in the spotlight. However, it doesn't appear as shrewd or calculated from the outside. It seems disorganized, messy, and, to be honest, careless. Because she is a mother first and foremost. Regardless of how much others want to discuss her romantic history or the headlines surrounding her name. She ought to be, at least. Additionally, she doesn't seem to be displaying her instinct or natural desire to prioritize and protect her child at the moment. It's true that everyone makes mistakes, that no parent is flawless, and that young mothers in particular deal with difficulties. Here, however, Chrisean Rock appears to double down on actions that exacerbate the situation rather than growing or learning from the criticism. The pattern is obvious, whether it's arguing with strangers online, allowing personal drama to spill into public places, or abandoning her son in dubious circumstances. Her reputation is suffering as a result of the attention she is seeking. And, above all, the health of her child. The true problem, when all the noise is removed, isn't Blueface Khan, or any of the other names that come and go from her story. Focus is the problem. Who has her attention? What is she putting all of her effort into? As of right now, everything except her son appears to be the answer. And for that reason, a great number of spectators are frustrated. Being critical for the sake of gossip is not the point. Sincere care for a youngster enmeshed in the midst of chaos is at issue. He didn't ask for it. The fact that this cycle feels familiar only makes it worse. It has happened to other people in the spotlight before. People who allow the drama to consume them to the point that their reputation is solely based on the scandal rather than their potential for skill or development. Chrisean Rock runs the risk of being remembered in the same manner if she doesn't retreat quickly. As a mother who continued to spiral while her child suffered, rather than as someone who overcame her difficulties. At times, Junior may be seen sobbing in the background. In one video, the police even intervened at their Vegas hotel. It's clear she doesn't have her priorities straight as she watches them fight while the baby cries. She ought to devote her energies to parenthood rather than relationships. Furthermore, let's face it, a lot this appears to be faked. Chrisean Rock is attracted to males who make her feel uncomfortable, share intimate photos of themselves online, and don't seem to actually care about her. For instance, Bino boasts that he gave her money. Send $2,000 if she needs $200. Love isn't that. That's generosity cloaked in control. There are no price tags on true love. Her family is having a hard time getting back on their feet in the meanwhile. In an attempt to care for Junior, her sisters have stepped in, but even they are at their breaking point. CPS was involved at one point, but people say Chrisean Rock avoids them by never remaining in one spot, even when her sister attempted to meet with CPS to ensure Junior received assistance. Chrisean Rock arrived, caused a commotion, and took him away. The saddest thing is that Junior appears to be fine, alert, and playful while he is with her sisters. He is also able to observe Miss Rachel with his relatives. However, when he is with Chrisean Rock, he appears almost dead. Online users are enraged because of this. They saw her prioritizing parties and men over her son. Not to mention the embarrassment she causes herself. On live streams, Chrisean Rock has been seen engaging in intimate metaphor gets. The camera is rolling and plays with Bino. These incidents, whether she is aware of it or not, are captured on camera, circulated online, and serve as yet another reason why people no longer take her seriously. It has nothing to do with women being strange. That's personal. You shouldn't share it while you're already facing criticism for failing to care for your child. Ultimately, it is heartbreaking to witness. While her infant requires stability, Chrisean Rock is pursuing men, influence, and attention. Every error she makes is public knowledge, and rather than disproving her detractors, she is only fueling their flames. People are afraid for Junior in addition to being dissatisfied with her decisions. They have every right to be honest. Chrisean Rock has been caught in the midst of a storm once more. comparing her love life to something so broken that it will never be healed. She declared that she was single. She didn't have a babysitter, so she left her child in a smoke-filled room with Bino while she was saying all of this. News that the two had already broken up surfaced shortly after. To be honest, nobody was shocked. She may have moved on to her security guard, according to rumors, but everyone is aware that the time isn't arbitrary. Since the beginning, people have predicted that she would release Bino as soon as the Blueface release date approached. She obviously still hasn't let go of that toxic relationship, whether or not she intends to run back to him. Regarding Bino, he received the attention and club that he desired. He exposed her whenever he could, which made their connection seem fleeting. He never loved her, according to some. He simply used her, and after gaining sufficient publicity, he departed. However, Chrisean Rock actions also did not help. She frequently behaved in ways that most would characterize as macho, competing with her boyfriend rather than praising him. Instead of displaying tenderness and maturity, then came the unforgettably memorable video. Bino's toes were placed in her mouth by Chrisean Rock. That was the last straw for a lot of fans. In an embarrassing moment, the same mouth she uses to kiss her baby is now widely shared online. The shame speaks louder than words, and it's possible that even Blueface has witnessed it. Junior, meanwhile, is constantly in the backdrop of these chaotic circumstances. Videos capture him sobbing or agitated as mayhem breaks out all around him. The sisters of Chrisean Rock have previously been engaged with CPs. But because she has a fixed address, the system finds it difficult to follow her. She avoids responsibility by moving from hotel to hotel, which is how she evades detection. This is the terrible reality. Chasing men takes up more of Chrisean Rock energy than caring for her son, instead of providing stability for Junior, who is already dealing with delays. She is exposing him to smoke, parties, and dubious situations. When the cameras are not in use, many are concerned about what might occur. Some even think that behind closed doors, things have gotten too far. Ultimately, everything here leads to one conclusion. Chrisean Rock should put her motherhood first and quit trying to gain influence. Every new connection she enters into will be just another plot point, another diversion, and another reason why others won't take her seriously until she prioritizes her child.